Hello, it's over the line 92 here, and welcome to another episode of my F1 2014 career. At the moment, we are in Malaysia, about to start the second episode of our Formula One career, and about to start Q3. We skipped through once again to the Q3 session. We managed to make it through on the legendary difficulty. Obviously, now park firmware rules apply, but we're going to go straight out onto the pits. Pit straight that is, and get some laps down. Obviously for the Kuala Lumpur track we do have different types of tyres that are available to us. The option one being this sort of white-sided tyre, which is going to be the fastest one that we're going to have available to us. I think the orange tyre is going to be the prime. We're just coming down to the first corner. It says obviously we don't want to use the tyres that much. The wear on these things is atrocious, so we want to take it nice and easy on the first lap, and obviously on the one coming back in, because these things fall off the cliff like no other thing I've ever seen. So just got to be careful. Well, what we do, we want to keep them warm at the same time. So you've got to find that nice little balance between keeping them warm and keeping them nice and brand spanking new. All the other cars seem to have gone out before us, so not really sure how it's going to affect our fast lap, which is coming up. Hopefully they'll all be long gone by then, but sometimes they do make mistakes and they do bug out and cancel and then get in your way. So Kuala Lumpur, one of my favourite tracks. Love this tight right hand corner. It's a bit tricky to do. It's easy to seize up as you come down there, but once you get it right and you know where the braking points are, it's really nice. You've got the two DRS zones across the two long straights as you come down the back, off going the opposite way to the pits. Going into rich mode here as we come down into second gear, flick it into the left, and just ease on the throttle as you come back out. Initiate DRS once again as you come down the long straight, going past all your teammates in the pit lane, and coming up to the long and tight right hand as we come down into second gear. Went a bit too deep into that, but we come back on the throttle a bit, come back around, tap in a little throttle, get a bit of buzz, but we lost it a bit by eating too much of the curb there, which resulted in the back tyres giving up and then skidding out a bit. So that's going to cost us a few tenths of a second, because obviously this is a long straight, so anything we lose here multiplies by the time we get up to the top of that long hill. We're coming into the second sector now, down into fifth and sixth gear, and we just need to wait for it. Oh, now the second entry coming into that corner there. It wasn't too nice. That is a very tricky one to get right, along with this one as well. It's very high speed orientated, Kuala Lumpur. There's a lot of high-speed corners that you need to do, but once you pass those and once you actually master those, you get some really good lap times down. This is also a tricky corner. There's not a lot of grip as you come out of this sector, but we're going purple all the way around. That's probably because that we're the only ones who are actually on a fast lap at the moment, or nobody else has posted. But Massive puts the first time on the board with 141.7. Alonso takes over 141.6, 141.1, and Button goes fourth, so it's all kind of going well, but we'll see how we compare. So we're on 133 at the moment, so by the time we come around this corner we might be going with 140. We'll see how we go. 139, 141.6. So we're just ahead of Massa, but not that great. Probably because we came out of this corner a bit too hot. So we're going to try and change that. We're going to try and get some good, decent times out of this. Tyres screeched a tiny bit there, but it wasn't as bad. We can get some good drive out of that corner now. So coming up the hill, this is going to multiply our position. Hopefully this will be purple, but we'll soon find out. No, it's not purple, but it's 0.2 seconds faster than a few other places ahead. The sector time was 0.8089. Let's try this corner again. That's a lot better. You just ease it on. You've got to wait for that. There's a little patch on the concrete that gives you an indication of when to turn in. Along with this corner as well, we definitely got the timing right there for turning. It's going to eat at least half a second off of our previous time. Went a bit deeper into the corner. Just ease on the throttle, don't want to screw up the lap too much, but we're half a second faster than our previous one. So it just goes to show how fast we are in this part of the track. And coming down to this lovely corner, going second gear, hit the apex and just rev it all the way out. Hit the DRS once again. And this should be a lot better. That button's now in 9th, so in terms of pace, let's see if we can outmatch him. It's 138, 139, 140.7. So we've just knocked off 1 whole second basically. We're supposed to round it up. But that puts us into 3rd place, just behind the Mercedes of Hamilton and Rosberg. And Vettel in the Red Bull is behind us in that. So there's a lot of high-speed corners. The Mercedes engine, I presume, is what gave us the edge over the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. So that is going to play in our favour a lot. Hopefully Button will be able to get up there as well. Really want to see Mercedes actually fight for a win here, or at least a podium spot. But we'll see how we go in terms of obviously the race. It's obviously a very long way. Anything can happen in terms of tyre wear, accidents, or even a yellow flag, God forbid. But we're just going to take the car back in. Take it nice and easy, but I will see you guys for the race. And here we are, welcome back to Over the Lines online, or not online, Formula 1 career, and we are in 3rd place as qualifying showed. We managed to hold it, and we are off, and it's a bad start from us. Raikkonen, the Ferrari, is coming on the left hand side along with Alonso. He takes the lead, goes in front along with Ricciardo coming behind, and Hulkenberg on the right hand side as well. They all kind of just swamped me as I come into the first corner, and managed to hold it as there's a gap open on the inside line, holding first gear. And Hamilton goes wide deep into the corner, and we managed to come up on the inside. We're now neck and neck as we come through up to the hill. Are we going to be able to hold it, just rev their engine as fast as we can? Both Mercedes units fighting it out, and Hamilton just gives in and backs out as we come up there to the top of the hill for the right hand corner. So now we've got the lead. We're in 1st place for the first time ever. I was not expecting that at the start of the race. I expected the Mercedes to just power out and simply just fly ahead, but we cut the grass a bit as we come through the second sector there. But we need to clean that up. We can't keep doing that, otherwise it will eat our tyres away and also ruin our race, because we will lose a lot of time if we don't remain on the racing lines. So we're coming down to the end of sector 2 now, into this deep chicane. The Mercedes units of Rosberg and Hamilton are starting to really come back up into the backside of our car, as it's really starting to show that they have a way more pace than we do in the McLaren. Rosberg's taken 2nd place from Hamilton. I don't know how that happened, but something must have happened in the second sector there for Hamilton to actually get bogged down by Rosberg and him to take the advantage. But we have now actually held the lead for a whole entire lap. And this is the power that Rosberg has under his engine. He's coming out after coming out of the slipstream, but is he going to take it still? No, he's going to back out. And Hamilton goes around the outside. He takes back 2nd place from Rosberg as he backs out after taking us on the inside. Coming down the pit straight now into lap 2. Things are going well. It's basically going to have to be defence mode from here on in. We've got to try and hold these Mercedes boys off as much as possible. We go deep into that first corner, and Hamilton tries to take it back. See him in the rear view mirrors, which are actually pretty good when you're actually trying to commentate about a race and how things are going behind you. Or actually show, even though they're a bit pixelated, actually show what is happening, which is almost impossible to do in the other races. But those Mercedes are coming really tight on our heels, with the 2 Red Bulls behind them as well, of Vettel and Ricciardo. So coming through the second sector again, we're going to try and get it right this time. Yes, we do. We're in the 5th gear. Cutting a bit too wide again. Maybe a bit too much on the gas. Maybe it's because we're trying to outlast these Mercedes power units, and the amount of grip they have compared to us is so much more. So maybe we're just trying to try a bit too hard and push the car beyond its limits. But things are getting interesting now. We're just going to try and get as many points as we can here. So it's going to be an interesting race, especially when it gets around to the pit stop stage. Things are going to get really messy if we come out at the same time or we go in at the same time. I don't expect to hold this, but we're going to damn well try our best to hold it. We're going to use our rich mode to defend against the DRS zones, because we do have +2 laps of fuel for this race. So we've got a bit more than we did get last time. I'm not really sure how that works, considering it's the same fuel load for every race now. I'm not really sure how we get +2 in comparison to the last race. But DRS is now enabled as we come across into lap 3. Hamilton still retaining second place along with Rosberg close behind. Ricciardo is in 4th by just a 0.3 seconds. Hamilton just posted the fastest with 1:42.3. Our fastest is 1:42.4. So I'm sure the Mercedes units can actually go a lot faster than that, the Mercedes cars that is. But I think we are holding them up quite a bit. But I think that's the only way we're actually going to hold this position, is by holding them off as much as we can. But coming through the middle sector once again, hoping to get a bit more grip this time. Yeah, we managed to hold it in place, getting used to the layout, getting in the zone, getting a nice little rhythm going here. The Mercedes car is still tight on her heels. Hey, Rosberg seems to have fallen back a bit from Hamilton. Maybe tried to make a move and it didn't pay off. I'm not really sure, but obviously with me in the lead, he's going to have all the time in the world to catch up again. But we're 0.5 seconds slower in that lap compared to the rest of the field and the fastest cars. So we are really holding up the pack here. We're going to go into rich mode early, try and get a bit of a... so we can have it from the word go, because Hamilton is really on the... It's a good thing I did as well, because we go wide and Hamilton's up on the right hand side. He's going far ahead. You can see him trying to just pull away. His car's got a lot more grip than mine, and he's starting to take advantage of his Mercedes car. Give him a lot more power. Rosberg tries to come in as well, but we're going to dive down the inside trying to go defensive. And we seem to be able to make it stick, and Rosberg takes second place from Hamilton. We push him to the outside of the track, and Rosberg just takes the inside and follows us, and he is now in second place. Ricciardo also takes over Hamilton, and he's now in 3rd, so a good result for Red Bull here. But let's see how things pan out as we come down into lap 4 now. It's a whole different kettle of fish each lap it's going to go by. Each time that I hold these guys up, they're going to be battling each other out. But we seem to be able to get a good lead from Rosberg as we come up the hill once again. Put back into standard mode, but he seems to have fallen back a bit. And we just went purple by 0.3 seconds in that sector alone. So where Rosberg has obviously made a few mistakes, it's given me a chance to actually power down and get away from this pack and show what is really in this McLaren car. Revving the guts out of 4 gear there as we come down into the second sector. Tight little kink to the right. Rear end's a bit happy there. The tyres are holding out well, I think, but we're going to go in maybe later than usual than we did in Melbourne, because we lost out quite a bit in terms of the pit stop. We had 7 seconds, which is double the amount of time that we should have spent there sitting stationary. Rosberg still really trying his best to try and get around, but we're just holding our car. We're really pushing the thing to the limit as much as we can. I'm not really sure if I've got the right setup or not. I'm not really a master of that. But I think we've got the best I can do in terms of what I do know about setting up a car. But the tyres are on amber, they're not really that worn down. We can go quite a few more laps with these things, or so I hope anyway. And was that Ricciardo coming around the outside of Rosberg? There was a bit of contact, a bit of squirreling from Rosberg's rear end. But we now come into lap 5. Ricciardo in his Red Bull takes second place. It's not a really good start to the season for the Mercedes cars, which is really odd considering they were doing so well in real life. The Red Bull seems to be really pushing them in terms of obviously what they can do. I mean, Red Bull won in Melbourne in this career mode as well. So Mercedes really need to show their worth here and try and get into that podium place. But Rosberg's still holding 3rd. Hamilton in 4th now. I don't really know who's in 5th and further down, but we'll see how things pan out. Come through the middle sector once again for sector or lap 5, and in 5th gear and coming back out again. Obviously them fighting has given me a tiny bit of a breather for now, although I doubt that I'll be able to retain this lead for much longer. we are hanging on pretty well, longer than I expected to be. I thought the Mercedes were just going to fly by it as soon as they touched the, my rear plates.
The car behind is only a second down on you. 1 second.
So it'll be really good to see how this McLaren actually stands up. Oh, that was really close. Nearly went off then. If that wheel just went another foot to the right, or left rather, we would have been on a spinning avenue. Car starting to slide a bit, maybe the tyres are starting to give, maybe they're starting to show, and the torquey engines of 2014 are starting to take their toll. We are starting to go a bit slower. It's 143.0 basically dead on, which is half a second slower than what we should be doing. It's a 142.1 from Ricciardo there. He's gone fastest of this session so far. So he is a whole, basically if you round it up, he's a whole second faster than what we are doing at the moment. But we're in lap 6 now, so almost halfway there.
Looks like the DRS isn't working. The guys are looking into a fix.
And DRS is just broken, as my engineer has just announced. So it's really going to be bad news for us if one of these cars gets in front and the rear just tries to step out there, but managed to catch it just in time before it actually starts doing some damage. But our DRS is now immobilized. It's not working. It's on strike. So if one of these other Mercedes cars or the Red Bull get in front, then it's bad news for us, because we will not be able to get these places back at all. Considering they've all got DRS for themselves as it is, I'm basically a sitting duck if they do decide to retake a place. And here we go into the back straight now. Ricciardo is going to use his DRS, but he's not really gaining much. Maybe it's the Renault power unit that's making him so slow here. But we're going defensive to the inside line once more. Is that one of the Mercedes going in? Yes, it is. A few other cars join him from the further down the grid, but it's me, Ricciardo and Rosberg who decide to stay out and go for another lap round. And I'm still deciding on when is a good time to go back in to the pits for a new set of tyres, because I know I'm faster on this tyre in comparison to my others. So Jenson Button has just come into the pits, as he's just said. So he's going to come out with the prime tyres, and we just nearly lose it there once again. These tyres are really starting to struggle. We might have to come in at the end of this lap or the next one. And Zach Rosberg down the inside, he's really close to the back end of Ricciardo. He's really pushing him, and the rear end of this car really does not like to stay in one place. So we're trying to fight this thing every single step of the way around this track, just to try and keep this first place as much as possible. Although I don't think we're going to be able to hold off Hamilton when he comes back out. See, Hamilton's going to be on fresh new rubber, so he's going to have all the time in the world. He's probably got even open space galore. But is that Ricciardo and Rosberg going in? We're going to start for one more lap, because I don't like the idea of other cars following me in, and that will cost a lot of time. But we just did the 144, so these tyres are really starting to go off the cliff. We're really starting to show their fatigue, and we're starting to lose a lot of pace. We're 2 seconds slower than what we should be. And even just going through that corner, you can see the rear end is just starting to go a bit. So we're going to have to take it nice and easy in terms of this tyre wear for this last lap. Make sure we don't make any major mistakes, because if we do, we lose out on a lot of points. Especially since they have not fixed my DRS yet. This could be potentially fatal for the race, because we have no fighting we have nowhere to fight back if we are in the DRS zone. So far it's so good. The car hasn't snapped any. Tried to there. You see me just counter steering slightly to the left. And look at these tyres, the rears of those. The rear tyres are really dark orange, which means they're basically they're beyond slicks. They're just no grip whatsoever on those. You can start to see the graining on the left hand tyre as well, where you've got the wall. You see slight little lines where you've got a lot of wear going through the second sector. But here we go. We're going to go into the pits now. Make sure it's nice and quick. Right, so here we go into the pits lane. Just let the computers take over. Obviously, it's still scripted. It's all automatic, so we don't really need to do anything at all. So here we come. We're the only ones that are in here, so things should speed up. You can see the cars coming down the last pit straight. So we really need a good pit stop here. On go the orange wall tyres, and out we come again. Still no sign of any other cars coming through. We're going to go into rich mode, make sure that we've got the power as we come out. But who's going to come out? There's got to be cars. And here's the cars. They're coming out now as we speak, and Hamilton's in the lead. But I'll be able to make it. We come down into the first corner. Hiko's go on the inside. But we managed to just close that door before we go too deep, and we have retained our first place. We've just held it by the skin of our teeth. If there was 1 second more, we would be in second or third. It would be so chaotic. But here we are now actually in the lead still, holding off the rest of the pack. It's just a matter of defending as much as we can, and these cold tyres are not giving me the grip I need at the moment. Hamilton has been on these tyres for a few laps now, so he's going to be right in the optimal zone in terms of the life of the tyre and how much it grips. But we really need these tyres to warm up pretty pronto if we're going to have any chance of holding them off. We've still got plus 1 lap of fuel. We're going to try and preserve this, but Hamilton tries to have a look, but he thinks about it. We're going to go to the racing line this time to get this nice long sweeping left hand corner, and Ricciardo moves into second place once again after Hamilton rather backs out from his overtaking manoeuvre, and Rosberg takes advantage of it too. But Ricciardo is now speeding up, coming close behind, but not in a position to make a move at all. So you've got behind us, I think, is Vettel, who is in 5th place, and Alonso, who is in 6th. Yep, there's a Ferrari back there as well. So their pit stops have really done them some good. They're caught up with the rest of us at the front runners. But we've only got 4 laps to go now, so all well and good. And we miss the turn in once again for that corner. And Ricciardo comes right up to the back of our rear end of our car, and it makes us go deep. I think he was going to make a move there, but he doesn't, and it's all chaos as Rosberg comes through. Ricciardo might have put some brown stuff in his pants from my mistake, and that has caused him go down back to 4th place. So, and Alonso has taken another one of the cars. So Alonso moving up the field here. He may pose a threat to the rest of us if he gets too close, because he is an aggressive chap. He's very good at what he does when it comes to overtaking. But the two Mercedes cars are holding in there. Ricciardo pops out every now and again to say hello, but a few corners later they retake their place. And it's just basically Rosberg and Hamilton trying desperately to get past this McLaren of mine. And he goes around the inside, but he's just too late in terms of their pace. And I'm able to just simply defend the inside line, and no damage is done at all. Vettel is now in 4th place, so it's Vettel and Alonso who are in 4th and 6th, and Rosberg comes down on the inside. This is a really bad news for us. We tapped the outside of the car with our front wing, and Hamilton goes down the inside as well, but we're going to dive down the inside of this second corner, and it's all chaos. Hamilton takes 2nd place, Rosberg backs down to 3rd. It was a bit of a dirty move, but we got it done. And we are still holding on to this lead with 3 laps to go. Vettel now in 3rd. Rosberg has just missed out on the podium, so bad news for him. Alonso will be close behind him most likely, and Ricciardo will be hanging on there further down behind him. There's a bit of a gap between me and Hamilton. Hamilton just seized up. Hamilton just majorly had an accident there. And Vettel is now in 2nd place. What is going on at this Grand Prix? Button, you just see him coming out at the outside of that pack. There's a huge clump of these guys coming right behind me. So this McLaren is way out of its comfort zone here. It should not be here. It should be where Button is at the moment. And it just goes to show that we are holding up the rest of the pack big time. But we are actually out of the DRS zone, so if we can do well here, we can actually save the day. But Hamilton retakes 2nd place. There's a lot of overtaking here. It's too bad that we're not involved in it. We're just simply like we're the safety car of this race. We really are just holding everyone off. It's like, not go any faster, lads. You gotta keep at this pace. We are the restrictor in every single race that's going to come. We're not going to be overtaking anyone. We're just going to go, right, we'll cut in here. Nice, we'll keep that. And we'll go from there. But we've just gone purple in that sector 1, which is my favourite part. So this may be a good lap. Oh Jesus, we screwed that up big time, didn't we? We can still put down a good lap time though, however. Hamilton's starting to come back to the rear of my McLaren now. He's getting closer and closer, 1.5 seconds behind. However, we know he's got a lot more downforce than us, so he's going to be pounding that time like hell. I mean, let's look at it. Look at the amount of time he's just made up in that turn alone. The amount of downforce his car has is unbelievable. But we've only got to hold off these guys for 2 more laps now. And McLaren will have its first win ever. To Hamilton now. Jesus, his braking performance coming into the first corner. That is some really good shit. And you've got the 2 Red Bulls behind. Don't know what happened to Rosberg. He's nowhere to be seen. In fact, Rosberg has just disappeared off our radar entirely. It's just me, Hamilton, and the 2 Red Bull cars. I don't know what's happened to the other 2. That's the bad corner there. That's going to screw Hamilton's race up. Might have needed a higher downforce than this. To have been more effective through the middle sector, we might have. I mean, we don't even touch the high end of the gears, so it might have been a good idea to go for a higher downforce setup, considering the gears aren't really affected. Obviously, it's easier to accelerate, but that might explain why we're not really gaining that much in terms of the DRS enabled. Maybe I've got too little downforce, which is enabling me to just simply hold them off when they come down these long straights. In which case, thank God for that, because otherwise I'd be really screwed by now. But here we go, we're just taking it nice and easy. We're basically nurturing the car home. The tyres aren't barely touched, to be honest, so I don't really have too much to worry about them. Other than Hamilton and his supercar behind us, I think we might have this one in the bag, provided that nothing goes wrong. The tyres were screeching there as we came out the first few corners there. But up the hill for one last time in Kuala Lumpur. And we just went purple once again, so we really do like that first sector compared to the rest of the AI. Which is nice to see, to be honest, even though Hamilton did seem to gain a hell of a lot in the first braking zone. Got the corner right this time, it's a bit off, but it will do. It's acceptable. Go over the grass a bit there. But the rest of the cars now really don't have a chance. I think this is going to be the finishing positions for everyone involved. So Mercedes, Rosberg has lost out big time, but Hamilton's going to come behind in second place unless we get down to this DRS zone and he takes us there. So this is the last time we're going to have to defend. But he's really close in behind us. That is really close. That's like, you know, causing me a wedgie close. But here we are into the last DRS zone of this race. He's starting to gain. He's going to go down on the inside. Here he is, but he's not close enough. He backs out. He could have actually made that move, but is that going to give the Red Bulls a chance? It doesn't look like it. And we're going to come across the line here. Our first win for McLaren, and we come across winners for McLaren in this shitty little car that shouldn't even be in the podium at all. Has just come first place. So there we go. P1 in the McLaren in our second race of the season. Lewis Hamilton comes in second place with Sebastian Vettel in third and Daniel Ricciardo in fourth. Valtteri Bottas and Williams comes fifth with Kimi Räikkönen in sixth, Nico Hülkenberg in seventh, and our teammate Jenson Button in eighth. So that moves us up to second place in the Drivers' Championship and second in the Constructors' Championship, and we are minus 24 points behind Red Bull, who are really flying ahead, and where's the Mercedes Petronas? They're really far behind. But Sebastian Vettel is winning this season. It seems to be a replica of 2013 as opposed to anything else. But that's it for this episode, guys. If you did enjoy it, then please do like and subscribe. You know, I'm starting out a new channel. Would really appreciate any support that I can get and any feedback you may have for the videos. So, thank you very much, and I will see you next time when we go to the next race.